Hello and welcome back to the Quad Life. Well, it's another sunny day here in Iowa. I was hoping to record video outside again, but the gnats were attacking every time I was in the shade. That gets rather nasty to have gnats attacking. So I didn't want them to bug me or you. Therefore, we're back inside and have Fish as my partner. Well, last week I finished my last grade school for the year. This year I spoke with, I believe, 5 grade schools. However, this makes it the 20th year I have. So, back in 2004, I was doing a website for a local Christian grade school here and saw that they did a segment on disability awareness. After some inquiries, I found out that their entire segment was watching a half-hour long video. I'm like, well, I could maybe do better than that. So I asked around and I offered to replace the video, and I guess, as they say, the rest is history. My very first year was definitely a learning curve, in that I had my script in my head, and pretty well had it memorized because I had never remembered seeing a teacher with notes before. So I had the kids do an activity of writing with their mouth. And then when I deemed that they were done, I just kept on going with my script. However, my head and my mouth were not paying attention with my eyes, because the kids were not paying any attention to what I was saying, and instead showing off everybody their new writing skills and doing anything but looking at me. Once the instructor kind of regrouped the kids and me, I started again. But that year, I had, I believe, 2 classes back to back. So by my second class, I had learned already and had the kids put away their writing and their papers before I continued on. Well, that was my first year. Second year, I just did the one school as well, and after, I think it was probably 3 years, I started adding more schools in the area. And I only went to Christian schools because my talk is about teaching kids about serving God with disabilities, and that we live in a world that is not the very good world as it once was, but because of sin, we now have problems like disabilities, spinal cord injuries, MD and MS and CP, and colds and flu and everything else. But because someone has a disability, or a different ability, as I say, we may do things a little bit differently, like, say, writing with my mouth instead of my hands. But in the end, we get the same thing done. So I kept going on for several years and added more schools. And I think at one point I was speaking to over 200 kids per year. But then some of the schools that I went to got different teachers, and so they get an email from a random guy that is asking to speak to their kids. Well, they don't know who I am, and so therefore I didn't receive replies from all of them, and others maybe just got busy or didn't always agree with all my talk, I guess. So some of them started decreasing over the years as well. And then we got to 2020. And everyone knows that things changed a lot then. And after that, I was kind of wondering if I would have schools that would have masking requirements so the kids would not be able to write by mouth. So therefore, I added in a second writing method of writing by feet. I had them watch a video that a mom and her son had a birth defect or abnormality that they were born without arms. So, therefore, they do everything with their feet. And the boy, at least the time the video was taken, was in school, and of course he was writing at his desk with his feet. The video is old enough that the boy is probably in his early 20s now, but grade school kids don't notice that as much. So I had them start writing with their feet also. And none of them had masking requirements, so I could do writing by mouth and by foot. And that has continued on since. I've had some kids that say that writing by foot is easier than writing by mouth. I've actually had some, very few, that the writing by hand, mouth, or foot is actually pretty similar to each other. So most of them you can't tell what they're writing. But I'm thankful that for these 2 decades I've been able to do this. I greatly appreciate working with the kids, but in realizing that it's been so long, I'm starting to wonder if I'm going to get a second generation here. Because when I started, they were 8 years old, 7, 8, somewhere around there for 2nd grade. And 20 years, so those kids are now in their upper 20s, 28, or somewhere around there. So therefore, if they got married at, say, 19 or 20, which I know isn't real common anymore, but still can happen, well, then those same, quote, kids could have an 8-year-old by now that would therefore be in 2nd grade again. And I do 2nd or 3rd grade, or combined 3rd and 4th grade, depending on the school. But it is a possibility, at least, which means I've been doing this a long time, or I'm getting old, or whatever. Or all the above. Take your pick. No matter what, though, I'm thankful that God has allowed me to do this for so many years, and I still have memories of some of the schools that, some of the comments the kids have made. Some of the kids ask questions like, how old are you? So I say that I was injured when I was 3 years old, and I've been injured for however many years it had been, depending on what year I was in. And so therefore they do a little bit of math and figure out my age. And then I had one kid that replied, oh, you're not young. And so I thought that my caregiver here is either my wife or my girlfriend or my mom. I think sister, pretty well any relation you can think of. But when I asked them what I do for work, still my favorite ones that come to mind are that I'm a Swans man, or that I make pizza at either Casey's, which is a local Midwest gas station, or at Pizza Hut. And a reminder that if I do get up to 1,000 subscribers here, then I may, I will try to see if I can toss some pizza dough or not. But we'll see. Some changes are going on around here that we may have trouble getting at, but we'll try to. But that'll be an upcoming video. So that's what I've been up to the last about a month and a half. It's going to grade schools again. One I go to virtually, and the others I go to in person. Speaking of kids, I just saw 2 roaming around outside. But thank you for watching, and until next time, I will see you then. So, bye for now.